here with Tudor Dixon. Tell us about the energy in the convention hall today.
Oh, it was amazing. When they announced J.D. Vance earlier on, they announced that Trump had it on Truth Social, and you could just hear the overwhelming cheers. Everyone is so excited. I think that we're coming off of the worst weekend, and the energy to do good, to come together, to do amazing things is so much higher than you could ever imagine. It really feels good out there.
Obviously, you referenced the assassination attempt on President Trump. How do you think that will affect Trump's message when he speaks later in the week? Do you think that changes his approach, what he's going to say to the American people?
Well, we know he says that he's changed his speech quite a bit, and I think that he is going to go for more of a coming together, a unifying message. Probably not so many jokes and jabs, although I think that he will continue to joke because he loves humor and he's so good at it. But I think it'll be more of a message of this is our time. This is our time to bring back the country, to bring back American values. And that's what we want to hear right now. I think that he realized in that moment when he stood and he put his fist in the air and he said fight, that people are with him in a way that goes beyond politics, in a way that goes back to the founding of this country, that people want to see our freedoms preserved, our right to religion, our right to free speech, our Second Amendment rights, all of those protected. And there was this patriotism in that moment, we're with you, we've got you.
So much of the left-wing, the establishment media for years has been demonizing Trump, saying he's the next coming of Adolf Hitler. They've done so much to create this atmosphere that we're facing right now. Of course, in the past 48 hours or so, they've been saying, "Oh, everyone needs to walk it back. Let's settle down." Do you buy this message from the media?
I wish that I could. I honestly do wish that I could. I think it's very telling that Morning Joe was not on, because to me that says they know. They know what they've done. And the truth behind this is that they have blood on their hands. What happened over the weekend, we lost someone. We lost someone because they were saying he's got to be eliminated. And these are quotes from people. Joe Biden just a few days before said that Trump needs to be in a bullseye. We know what he meant by that. We know that people take those words seriously. And the thing is that if that's the game they play, where they're going to constantly say every word you say matters, well, then who's going to hold them accountable? And this is coming from the media. We've got the Joy Reids out there, the Jen Psaki's out there every day who are saying he is a threat. He cannot get reelected. We've got a 20-year-old kid that took that in the wrong way, but that's what you produce when you continuously say there's such a massive threat out there. And when you instead of playing the game of politics and talking about policy like we expect the media to, and holding people accountable for their actual policies, they take away any chance of a conservative talking about policies. The minute they label you as a threat, you're in defense mode. They try to put us in defense so we can never talk about what we want to do to make this country great.
And you mentioned that the shooter was only 20 years old. For half of his life, for his formative years, he's been inundated with hearing all these terrible things about President Trump. For those young people who have heard all the same messages the past 8 to 10 years about President Trump, how do you think they are viewing this election? Do you think it's differently than it has been in the past? And what do you think about Mr. Vance, his appointment as only 39 years old, very young vice president? Do you think he'll be appealing to young voters?
Absolutely. I think that's such an interesting discussion, though, when we think about 20 years old and what you're saying about half of his life he's heard these attacks. And what does that mean when you think about the fact that he was willing to go do this, and we have this mental health crisis in the nation? Do we say that this goes even farther, that the power the media has over disturbing young minds is even greater than we thought? Because this is the most heinous act we could think of, and it happened. And so how many other young people feel this way? And I do think that gives J.D. Vance the opportunity to come out and say, hey, you know what, I'm the next generation generation, and Trump chose the next generation to run alongside him because I have those American values, but he doesn't come from a place of privilege. He comes from a place of poverty, and he understands struggle. He understands what it is to work your way up, to take yourself to the elite colleges, to push yourself through there, and then become a U.S. Senator, and now he will be the next Vice President of the United States. What an incredible story from the Midwest, from our area. You know, Ohio is a border state to Michigan. I feel so proud to think that here we have someone from the Rust Belt who will go to Washington and bring what we see every day, our values every day, to Washington and then to the entire country. And that's what I believe J.D. Vance will be able to get that message out. And I think a lot of young people go, interesting, he looks like me, he talks like me, maybe he understands me.
It's such an American story, and especially when paired with somebody like Donald Trump, it seems to be a very well-rounded ticket that has a lot of appeal, especially maybe to people who had not supported President Trump in the past.
Right.
If you could encapsulate the message that you want to see from him this week, what should the president say on that stage when accepting the nomination?
You know, the president says the right thing every time he comes out and talks about what he wants to do for America. I want him to tell me that he is going to secure our border, that he is going to take care of our nation, but I know he's going to say that. I want him to say that he's going to create more opportunities for women, and I know he's going to say that because I look back. It's not because I think it, it's because I lived it. I saw what he was able to do for this country. I want him to tell us that he is going to take care of this opioid crisis that we've seen, and I know that he can. I know that the way that he works through these different committees and groups that took opioids out of people's patient care when they didn't need them, he has already done so much for that, and I know he's going to continue on that path. I know that he's going to come out and say, hey, we can work with other world leaders to take these tensions down. What he did with the Abraham Accords, no one else can say that. The fact that we watched Israel get attacked by Iran and we saw neighboring countries who had never defended Israel before come out, that was because of Donald Trump. That had nothing to do with Joe Biden. We have already seen what he is capable of. I just want him to say, I'm going to continue the great path we were on, and we're going to make sure you have more money in your pockets and that this country is preserved for your children.
Tudor Dixon, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.